This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And joining me right now is Tim Moore. He is the CEO of HAVN Life Sciences. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you: HAVN on the CSE and HAVLF in the US. And you can see Tim do a presentation on HAVN Life Sciences at our upcoming virtual event, the Planet MicroCap Showcase Virtual, happening April 20 through 22nd, 2021. So be sure to register to check that out. Tim, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Robert. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having some interest in HAVN Life. Appreciate it.
It's great to have you on. So this is our first time doing an interview together, and I'd love to start off with a quick overview and history of the company. So take it away.
So the company's a little over a year old. The genesis was in late 2019, where some scientists, I wasn't part of the team then, but some scientists came together and saw an opportunity to fill a gap in the marketplace. And so formed a team, got some initial funding. I was recruited in April of last year. We went public just after Labor Day of 2020. We raised some money, and we're very focused on executing our business plan now. And you know, it's been exciting to create a company, form a team, raise capital, go public during a pandemic. I mean, it's been kind of nuts, right?
That'll keep you busy.
My first 4 months, I didn't meet in person anyone on the team. It was all Zoom, including the folks that had hired me. Nobody in person. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. Certainly anxiety-inducing, I'll tell you that.
I can only imagine. So tell us a little bit about what the company's up to. You know, what does HAVN Life Sciences do, and what are you looking to do to accomplish some of these tasks?
So we have a two-pronged strategy, both on the psychedelics restricted compound side and then on the natural health products or our food supplement side. On the restricted compound psilocybin side, what we saw was an opportunity in the marketplace to build a supply chain of naturally derived compounds. So psilocybin has had deep science work done over the past several decades. You've got places like Johns Hopkins University, Imperial College and King's College in the UK, NYU, USC, University of Toronto. All these places have centers for psychedelics. So there's a lot of legitimate science there and evidence around treatment for anxiety, depression, PTSD, substance abuse, anger management. The challenge is there's no supply of GMP quality plant-derived product. Most of these facilities are using synthetic psilocybin. So the gap we saw in the marketplace was to develop the protocols for a GMP facility for the cultivation and extraction of naturally derived compounds. And that's our focus right now. We're piloting our protocols at a facility in Jamaica while we await our licensing in Canada for the facility that we'll have in Vancouver, where we will, across our library of genetics, cultivate mushrooms and do extraction, and then ultimately do compounding and supplying of doses. So that's our lab model. We see a huge opportunity for naturally derived in that it's going to be less expensive than the synthetic, which is crazy expensive. And the second thing is people that are seeking an alternative to pharmaceuticals don't want synthetic. Just think of synthetic THC and how it fell flat with the cannabis community because, no, I want the plant. I mean, people that smoke weed would rather know what kind of music the grower listens to than to know that the molecule came from from Walter White's lab. So, show me a plant-derived library. That's what we do. Plant-derived compounds, broad spectrum, isolate, to pursue APIs in the space, initially with researchers and then ultimately with formulators.
Very good. So look, it's a relatively new space. You know, it seems like there's a lot of different verticals that are being formed as a result of this new acceptance, so to speak. So for HAVN, what would you say makes your company unique and different compared to some of your peers, if there are any at this point?
So the lab side, we're the only ones that we know of that are building a library of naturally derived compounds. And that gives us a path to revenue before the end of this year. We'll be able to supply compounds to researchers that have the appropriate licensing and have revenue before the end of this year. In addition to that, we have a parallel strategy around food supplement products. So these are things currently like lion's mane, reishi, cordyceps, turkey tail, and then other compounds that fall under the same rules as melatonin, chondroitin, glucosamine, even ginger. And so we have 7 SKUs ready to launch. They'll be at retail in the second quarter of this year. So we'll be in revenue on that side of the business in the second quarter. We'll build that business out an additional retail footprint, as well as our own e-commerce site when it comes up later on in the quarter. And so that gives us this dual-pronged approach to revenue without asking our shareholders to hold their breath for 3 to 5 years while we go through clinical trials. So we feel it really does set us apart.
Got it. All right. So this is, I'm sure you get this question asked all the time because everything's so nascent and new. But what would you say is there a difference between the psilocybin, I guess what you're taking from the mushroom and putting it into over-the-counter food products versus CBD? You know, is there a difference in the kind of effect it's supposed to have on the body?
Yeah. So first of all, our NHP products aren't psychedelic. They're not psilocybin. They're using other compounds that are approved for nutritional supplements. And they provide benefits like calming, focus, increased energy, immunity boosting, a broad range of benefits. And it's very well established science behind that. What we bring to it is a quality that's far better than most of the things that we've seen on the market, as well as a scope and scale. We're the first ones attacking this on a national basis, but with the ability to service national retailers, the places where you would expect to find these products. And 70% of the consumption still takes place in the food, drug, mass universe, with e-commerce continuing to grow. So our team, we paired our world-class science team with a world-class executional team. My background, I've got over 30 years in packaged goods. Our chairman's got a few decades in packaged goods and in nutraceuticals, our chief science officer as well. So we have that executional expertise to do this on a scale and with a quality that the market hasn't seen before.
Very good. So, in all seriousness, this is probably the most serious question I'm going to ask right now. With mushrooms, I mean, we got to make sure there's that umami flavor in these products, right? Are we going to get umami?
Well, one of the challenges with mushrooms is most of them taste awful. They taste like dirt, right? So, what our initial products are going to be capsules so that, you don't have to worry about the flavor, but we're quickly going to be expanding. We announced this morning that we closed a transaction to acquire a manufacturing facility, which will allow us to start making functional teas. So what we'll be able to do is take these functional mushrooms and pair them with a tea that has the appropriate flavor that it makes it a good tasting tea. So imagine, for example, a nighttime tea that helps you to sleep, or a morning tea that provides additional focus because of the addition of the appropriate functional mushrooms. So we're going to start our development work on that right away, and we're really excited about what that means for the marketplace.
And Tim, you've already alluded to my next question a little bit, speaking about your experience of a little over 30 years working in the packaged foods industry. But what got you to where you're at today and working at HAVN?
Well, it is an intimate connection. I mean, I've got 5 sons. My oldest son is 35. My youngest is 24. I have 2 have anxiety disorder. My 1 son was suicidal at age 14. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. By the way, they're all fine now, but what we've gone through. I mean, my middle son got hit by a drunk driver 6 years ago and was seriously disabled. He didn't work for a few years. He became an opioid addict, and I spent 2 years watching him disappear into the couch. I mean, there was less of him every day. And ultimately, it was cannabis that saved his life. That became my motivation to get in the cannabis space about 4 years ago. And when I saw the promise that psychedelics offer for anxiety, depression, PTSD, anger management, substance abuse, and our ability to offer hope to people to get back to a normal life, that was my motivation to get into this space and to join HAVN Life. And I'm deeply motivated for us as an industry and us as HAVN to help people to get normal lives and to give them hope. So yeah, I'm committed, I'm motivated, and I'm excited at what we can offer.
So to close out here, before I let you go, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's growth drivers now moving forward?
Um, as fast as possible, building our retail footprint on our natural health products, adding additional SKUs, acquiring potential IP to give us some proprietary formulations on the NHP side. All of that will build our revenue on that side. On the lab side, it's going to be securing additional supply agreements. We have several in place we expect to be shipping to before the end of the year. Completion of our lab in Vancouver, securing of our dealer's license, and then scaling that business next year to be able to export. Because it's a GMP compliant facility, we can export to the US and to Europe. And so we'll be building an international footprint.
Got it. Sorry, I lied. I have one more question for you before I let you go. You know, have you gotten any comments about it being too early for these types of products yet? Like, I worry about the adoption rate already. You know, like willing to try it and all that kind of stuff. You know, what's been the feedback on that?
So what we're seeing is several tectonic forces come together. One is the massive scale of mental health issues around the world. You know, the statistic used to be 11% of the population has some sort of mental health issue. There's $1 trillion of lost productivity because of anxiety, depression, and other afflictions, and that is going to grow. We believe there's going to be an echo effect from COVID, an echo pandemic of people that have been affected by it, whether they've survived it or whether they've been, lost their job, lost a loved one, lost a business, worked as a medical worker in what was like wartime conditions. When was the last time we built temporary morgues? Like not in my lifetime.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
okay.
Yeah.
So it's we see that. So you've got that growth of mental health consequences, and then you have the acceptance of mental health. So a generation ago, we called those people crazy and we put them in asylums and sanatoriums. Now it's okay to not be okay. You don't stigmatize someone for getting cancer treatment, and we've pretty much eliminated the stigma around someone saying they're getting treated for anxiety and depression. So those things are coming together. And then I think the final force that's coming together is public policy people are recognizing the evolving need of those other two things. So, they're just examples, but, Oregon and Washington, D.C. and Denver and Ann Arbor decriminalizing psychedelics. We're seeing an increasing number of people in Canada getting Section 56 exemptions for end-of-life treatment. That's going to grow into people that you don't need to be dying to get access to this. So all of those things are happening, the demand's there. And frankly, there's a lot of people self-medicating right now with black market product that are looking for a safe and reliable supply of high quality product to dose with. So we think that the industry's timing is very good. We think our timing is very good. And finally, the investor community has made themselves comfortable with the idea of psychedelics as well, largely because everything that we're doing is completely legal. Cannabis had this ghost that, federally legal or federally illegal and state legal in the US that chased away some investors. Everything that we're doing as an industry is in compliance with Health Canada or the FDA. It's licensed, it's approved. So we don't have that kind of tension that we had with cannabis, and we don't have the same stigma that was associated with cannabis. So the timing's right. We think the timing's excellent.
Very good. I'm glad I didn't let you go. I'm glad we got that question in. And so with that, Tim, where can my audience go and find more information about HAVN?
HAVNLife.com, or you can go to YouTube and look up HAVN Life and you'll find me. So
very
okay.
Good. All right. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Thanks, Robert. Really appreciate your time. Take care.
Thank you.